A wheel well stowaway typically faces two life-threatening conditions during flight: hypoxia and hypothermia. Let's learn more about this subject from an aeromedical expert with about 14 years of experience behind him. And of course, one of the few who get to see a stowaway when incidences like this occur in Nigeria.
At sea level, you have oxygen at normal partial pressure. You breathe in and breathe out without difficulty. But once altitude changes, once you go into the space, you encounter some difficulties. And why is it so? As you increase altitude into the atmosphere, up to 10,000 feet above sea level, you could still be getting some oxygen supply to your lungs and to the body. Above 10,000 feet, you start having difficulties. Above 15,000 feet above sea level, you might need supplemental oxygen to survive. Then above 25,000 feet above sea level to 30,000 feet, you may need to have oxygen at a pressurized level to survive. Now, the oxygen depletion, which is called hypoxia, is because in atmosphere, in altitude, high altitude level, there is what is called a reduction in the partial pressure of oxygen. The partial pressure of oxygen will not make the exchange at the lung level to be easily carried out because there's reduced partial pressure of oxygen at the high altitude. The bleed air from the engines supply recurrent oxygen, which are filtered out and recycled and filtered all over again for people to survive. So because the stowaways don't get into the cabin, they get into the wheel well or the landing gear compartment, which is not pressurized. It's on the outside. It's exposed to the environment that is found in the atmosphere. So that is essentially the situation around the stowaways. Hypothermia is a reduction in core body temperature. When you are exposed to extreme cold conditions, your core body temperature also is reduced and can lead to hypothermia and can lead to you having muscular issues, muscular problems, cerebral problems, and it can lead to death if not treated immediately. Airway breathing, it has 78% nitrogen. That's the composition of the airway breathing. At normal level, it doesn't cause any problem because it just goes in to the body and is released easily. But when you go to flight levels above 25,000 feet above sea level and you are not within the cabin, the nitrogen within the cells or the tissues diffuses out and comes out of the tissues. And if they are trapped in some areas of the body, the joints, the abdomen, the air, and also the sinuses, then they can cause severe pain. This pain can be excruciating, and that is what we refer to as, in simple terms, decompression sickness. Well, survival in the landing gear compartment can be attributed to so many things. The basic one is that it's just a lucky take. We have these factors that might play a big role. The first one is, as we said, the time the person is exposed to such differences in temperature, differences in partial pressure of oxygen. If it's longer, the chance of death is higher. The second reason is if this person is young, that is, the younger people survive. The survival rate is higher because they have no other medical conditions that might contribute to them being distressed. Slim people have a higher tendency to surviving such extreme temperatures and oxygen depletion. From history, we find that people attempt it because others who have attempted it have made it. And they've called to say, we made it, and the other person will be advised to take the risk. It's extremely risky and is suicidal, to say the least.
Now to something more colorful. Ever dreamt of piloting a helicopter? Meet 5 young men seeking to fulfill this dream. That's after the break. Do join us again.